Welcome to Season 2 of Binge or Cringe Tunes podcast with Jimmy and Rocko.
Hello and welcome to Binge or Cringe Tunes. My name is Rocko.
And I'm Jimmy.
Well, this week we have a song that's a little different, not necessarily because of the style, but because of the language, and not because it's explicit. Maybe it is, I don't know. But the song is called Nada Mais Bonito by Felipe Tavares. So this is obviously a track that I believe is Portuguese, Brazilian. So let's give that a spin.
O mundo não é mais bonito. Toma e pares, pra mim é tudo um lixo. Com você tudo era lindo, até aquele velho feio, fraco e triste. E aquele mundo em que eu vivia, você se foi, não existe mais. Não existe mais. O amor existe, ele é lindo, mas pra mim ele é só um mito. Tem as forças de uma guerrilha, combatendo seus inimigos. E eu não quero mais cantar, quero você aqui comigo. Vamos embora desse bar, não quero um uísque como um amigo. Quero você comigo. Quero você comigo. Desculpe italianos e franceses, desculpe avô, desculpe amor. Foi difícil ficar calado depois que ela me deixou. Afinal não é todo dia que perdemos um grande amor. Alguém com quem sonhou. Alguém com quem sonhou.
Perfect. Now that we've listened to that, Jimmy, what would you have to say about the technical merits of this track?
Okay, before we get into the technical merits, I just want to mention that I found the recording sloppy a bit. Timing was off. I don't understand why the recording was left like that. It didn't seem like errors that were not impossible to correct to me. I mean, a different take, whatever. But did it have an effect on the technical merits? Possibly. Let's start. I'll go in linear order in this case here. On your tonal balance, your bass was too rich, your treble was shy, your mid-range was okay. So being a bit of an acoustic thing that it is, might have been an arrangement issue, I don't know, but you have that tonal issue. Your stereo spectrum and your mono have a big problem. The song is basically in mono. So there's very little stereo aspect of it. And when there is, the balance is off. So I don't know what happened there. I don't understand. I didn't dissect it anymore, but that's a big issue you'll need to address. Your average loudness, your LUFS is at minus 13.6, which is quite fine. Your peak levels is at minus 0.2, too loud. Again, another case where somebody's pushing their limiter to try and get that extra bit of volume, and it doesn't actually achieve anything except it restricts your last bit of breathing room for the song to have some control over if it's going to go mastering or not. Your spectrum it's in the play, but the spectrum bounces around, and I guess that's impacting your tonal balance and your monocompatibility, where in some parts of the song we lose some of the spectrum, the spectrum, some lows and highs, and it's creating a mess over there. So I don't know exactly what it is. I can tell you that your LRA, which is your loudness to softness area, is at 4, a little bit strong, a little bit restrictive, but probably still acceptable. Your crest factor is a little low also, so you're trying to get some dynamic range at the expense of your peak level, so that's not working out too good. And your dynamic range overall is 11.5, which works. In fact, this tune has presented a lot of different technical problems that it's a little bit hard for me to dissect what you've done wrong that's caused all these problems for you. But if I had to say one thing for sure, I think it's you better look at your stereo balance and your monocompatibility first, because that'll help clean up a lot of your problems. Rocko, what are your impressions on this?
If I go back to what you said in the beginning about there was definitely some timing issues for sure. There's parts where it drags and doesn't. As far as the intro, I found it strange. It almost made me feel like I was already in the middle of the song. The vocals themselves lacked energy. It was more like reading words off a page. The one thing I did like was the bass line, but there's not much change in the track, the dynamics of the track. It almost sounds like something, how can I say that? Something I would hear at a wedding. What I mean by that is, if somebody approaches the band, tell them to play something in a certain key and tempo, and then that guest takes the mic to sing a special something to the bride and groom. It's like there's an idea in there somewhere. It just needs to be developed into a song, which I don't believe it is right now. And as for the lyrics, well, I won't go there because, translating lyrics never work out. And even if, I spoke the language, phrases in a different language and cultures can have different meanings and context. So I'm just going to skip that. Who knows? Maybe this track is more about the lyrics than the music. Maybe. But I do think working on a stronger melody, more dynamics musically, and having the right voice and emotion to deliver the track will definitely elevate it. That's all I got to say.
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate the difficulty you had, as I did as well, trying to understand what message was being conveyed. I also too listened to the emotion and the delivery, and I did find it a bit bland, considering that the music did have some potential. But what can you do? Well, thank you for joining us. He's Rocko.
And he's Jimmy.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for listening to Binge or Cringe Tunes with Jimmy and Rocko, and until next time.